What is good, friends, and welcome back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. You've heard the announcement, or you saw the announcement if you are part of the second round in Moscow. Maybe some of you are new to this conquest. If it's the case, stick around. I will have a lot of information, a lot of useful information to help you enjoy the most out of this event. It's a special event that goes basically once a month. This time it's Moscow, and it's a good news. Moscow, it's the best theater of conquest by far. I've been playing Cairo, San Francisco, and I rather play Moscow than any other conquest. The reason is quite simple. There's no bullshit in Moscow. There's no weather, no special currency, no map building, no restriction. Moscow is a city designed to fight from the very first day to the very last day non-stop. If you are a dominant alliance, you're strong, you like to fight, you will love Moscow. Otherwise, you may enjoy San Francisco and Cairo. My opinion, your opinion may vary. That's all good. That's why there's many maps. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to prepare for this conquest. We're going to talk also how to increase your chance of winning, building in Moscow, and at the end, I will share some tips and tricks with you guys based on my experience. I don't recall how many conquests I did. It's more than 7, that's for sure. And I will try to do my best to help you to gain a certain advantage over your enemy. So without any further ado, let's talk about how to prepare for Moscow. When you see the announcement, you have still some time to gather resources. You will need a lot of them. When I talk about resources, I talk about military funds. Most important, they are used to upgrade, but also to train troops. You will have to train a lot of troops. You will have to expand a lot of reserves, so keep in mind, focus on military funds. You will need steel and of course crude oil, but you will also need energy, lots of energy. There will be a lot of bunkers to destroy and plunders to collect. You need energy for that. You will also claim a lot of energy in Moscow or any other conquest city. You can also buy energy as well. But if you have a lot of bottles, you may be safe and you may do more bunker than the average to help you gain reputation. Reputation, we're going to talk about this. As Moscow, to win Moscow, it depends of a lot of factors. All right? So before entering the Moscow, you will be part of the matchmaking phase. This is the phase I cannot show you because once you're in the city, this screen is no longer available. But the matchmaking phase is where you know your rival and ally. Okay, in this map there is 8 allies playing together. The goal is to start from the edges and reach the middle of the map. Usually it's 8 teams again. No, it's 4 alliances versus 4 alliances. If it's well balanced, if it's not, you may find yourself into a 3 versus 5. No big deal. Most of the time the 3 alliances are a little bit stronger than the 5 rival, so it should balance itself. It's a good time to agree or set agreement with your allies, build a Discord, set up a Discord channel with all the R4, R5 in every other alliance to talk about the agreement. Where do we go? What alliance we attack? If we win, which point of interest we can claim and occupy and keep, and so on and so forth. Try to set up an agreement so there's no disagreement at the end of the event, and therefore you will prevent any betrayal or any bad experience. If you have one word, better respect your word to keep your alliance in good standing. All right. Now I talk about the agreement and so on. Now the chance of winning this conquest will depend, of course, of your allies, where you spawn in the map, and your activity. I will focus on the activity because it is the most important factor that will determine if your alliance will survive or not in this city. When I talk about activities, how much hours daily you can spend in the game and how many members you are active during key moments. What are those key moments? It's at reset. Everything happened at reset. Reset, the map open, you drop in Moscow, you set your central command near your settlement or any other place, depending of what is your action plan. But you need to be active at this time. If you are not, you will have a problem in the legendary and gold battlefield. You may be able to survive in silver battlefield, but in the upper tier battlefield, this will be a huge problem for you. Two reasons is, if everybody else is active at this time and you're not, they will capture the asset, they will save zone you, and two things will happen. You will fall behind, and it may look like you're not helping your allies. So you may be subject to betrayal if like you're useless, you can't do anything, it's not your fault. Your team must be active at those key moments. Same thing when the town open, right? The town open, the fort open, that is very important. The fort, why is it important? The fort, when it unlocks, it gives you a generous buff. Can I locate the fort? There you go. So there are 8 forts and 8 blockhouses. Each fort gives you a damage or damage resist of 8%. When you capture a fort, this is important as it will have two effects. It gives you a buff, and it will it will have a psychological effect on your enemy. So the combat for them is half done, meaning that if they cannot retake the fort, they will most likely not be able to capture a blockhouse, and that will be the end of your enemy at this point. So that's why it's important at reset to be active. All right. Same thing goes for the R4, R5. If you plan to do an attack, a counter attack, and there's nobody in charge that is available, you guys will wonder what's gonna happen, who decide where to go, the plan, the tags, what's happening. You need officers and you need the leader to be online at those key moments as well. So let's talk about building in Moscow. So when you land in Moscow, there will be a lot of building. It's a building race. Basically, you have you don't have an infinite amount of resources or points to build, so you need to build efficiently. Let's say that you start where we start, at the settlement. That's where you drop when the Moscow open. Naturally, you will either build your central command near your settlement or outside if you are dominant and want to save zone your opponent right away, you may do so. Doesn't matter where you build your central command, you want to connect your central command to the point of interest. The first point of interest that will open, if I remember, I think it's the fortress or the town. Not sure, but the town is not important. The fortress is. So this is the fortress you want to build and reach the fortress in one line. And then when you reach the fortress, you want to expand that claim land. So make sure that you have an extra layer just in case you are getting under attack, and you can keep this fortress valid. Okay. Then what will happen once you reach the fort? The arms factory will open. This is not a big deal. It will give you components, but the blockhouse is another key moment. So you want to reach the blockhouse, or maybe two. In that case, we have 2 blockhouses, and we also have 2 forts. So these are the point of interest that are important. So, like I said, you build one road and then you expand. Make sure you protect your claim land. All right. Now, you may be tempted at one time or many times, especially if you have a slow start. Let's say that your safe zone for the first few days until your allies help you to expand, that's fine, but then you want to maybe build faster to get up to speed with your other allies. You may be tempted to delete villages in order to lower the building cost. This is a big mistake. Don't do it. Okay, every time I've seen an alliance do it, it never ended good. Just wait, be patient, you will gather points. If you delete villages, two things happen. You will create a breach or create a weak zone in your claim land, unless you have a lot of them. But not only it will decrease the cost of village, it will also hurts the village economy, and you don't get a refund every time you delete a village. So it's like going 2 steps backward and do 1 step forward. In the end, you're not going to win anything. The only way that makes sense to delete a village is, let's say that your ally has to cross your claim land. So while they are in your claim land, they cannot build because it's claimed by you, of course. And let's say they get ambushed by the enemy. Now they're stuck. They only have troops, they cannot set base. You could delete, let's say, this village right there, so it becomes neutral and your ally can set their base and defend themselves. That is acceptable. That is, my book, a good reason to delete a village. Otherwise, no, it's not worth it. So be careful when you delete village or turn claim land invalid. Okay, if it's during a mission where you need X amount of valid village to win this mission, bad timing will happen, you will fail this mission. All right, so just be careful. One other thing, since the map is so huge, and it could happen where your ally, let's say FWZ, they are under attack, and we have to travel all the way across the map to reach them. That takes about 1 hour if you are lucky, and if your truck doesn't get hit by the enemy, right? So if you want to do it properly, you set up a airport right there. Do we have an airport? I think we do. Where is it? I think it's there, right? Near the bridge? Yes. So what we did is we delete our central command and we built in this area. We built 2 villages and then we delete our central command. Those villages are now invalid, but you can still jump in and reach your ally in teal color. So you don't have to travel all the way. So that's called an airport. And you want to build a few airports at the edges or at the opposite, far away from you, so you can reach all around the map in case of emergency. Okay, so that is a useful thing. When you delete a CC to build a new one, you invalidate everything here. So keep in mind, if you are under attack, it is important to save and fix this village. Once it's gone and it's not connected, you cannot rebuild it until you reconnect with your central command. And one last thing, when there's a claim land becomes invalid, you don't benefit from the alliance buff anymore. What is the alliance buff? It's right there in the research of the skills. No, the skill. Territory. So all this territory thing here, those buff, becomes crap when you fight into invalid claim zone. It's like fighting in the open field. You don't have any buffs. So just be aware of that handicap if you decide to move your CC around. All right? So that sums up the building in Moscow. Oh yeah, one last thing. If you have some invalid land and you think it's a good idea to delete it, like I said, don't delete it yet. You may use it for later. You never know. So we're done with building. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks that I learned from the time I played this game. First trick, don't be an asshole. Okay, be a nice guy. Try to behave in chat. Don't be a toxic dude. Nobody likes toxic guys or a toxic alliance. You never know. Someday, the alliance you're playing against, you may play with them. So try to be a nice guy. Keep your comments to yourself. You don't have to send or share reports with your opponent. It's kind of useless. You don't want to play that game. Be humble in your victory. Accept defeat. If you lose this time, you'll win another time. It's no big deal. I know it's frustrating. Maybe you got betrayed and you're unhappy about it, but those things happen every time. Okay, if it didn't happen yet, it's because you didn't play this game long enough. Okay, another thing, since this map is quite huge, you may have to travel a lot in truck. All right, teleporting is convenient. It may not be available at this time being. In Moscow or in the Conquest, you can only teleport in claim land. So if I try to teleport here, I cannot. So I have to move. And if you move, first thing you do is you look around. Oh, you see, I say that and look, those guys. So if I didn't look, those guys would ambush me and I will lose many troops. So, okay, you see these guys going after them. So look around before moving. When you think it's clear, first thing you do is you deploy your fighter. Why? Once you're in truck mode and cannot deploy your base, you cannot deploy your fighter and you're subject to ambush by bombers. Liberty bombers and Martyr's Watch bombers, not Liberty bombers, Vanguard bombers and Martyr's Watch bombers really shine in this map. It's huge. You want to reach a target that is on the move. Those bombers are ideal. So once I have my fighter deployed, I will pack my base, and I will move. So let's say I want to move from this position to that position. I could do it one shot if I keep an eye on my troops. If not, don't sweat it. Go step by step. Travel a small distance, and I will place my troops right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I leave a path right there so my truck can move through and deploy its base, and my fighter will go there. This way, if something happened, the phone rings, someone knocks on the door, and you have to leave the game. Once you come back in game, your base will be deployed and all your troops will be inside, including your jet. Okay, so you won't there's no chance to be under attack while you're busy, and at this moment nobody is near me to ambush me. And don't forget about the water. Bombers can go across water. Same thing for helicopters. Okay, so always be advised, always be aware that there's many enemies that may be watching you. So if you are a valuable player, important player, people are definitely watching you. They want you to die, and they will seize the opportunity when you are on the move as you are more vulnerable. So move with caution. You're not into a secure level 3 city anymore. You are in a dangerous city. So this is for one moving trip. One other useful tip is you see something, you're not an R4, you just report it. You have an enemy base, you want to report, you report in Alliance chat, and if you have a coalition chat, if you don't, make one. All your allies on the same side, make one chat and publish that stuff in this chat so everybody works together and fix the problem. Okay? I talk about having a good attitude, of course. Now, betrayal, it can happen. Why it happened? There can be only one winner, guys. Only one Kremlin to cap. And since the rewards are quite interesting, some alliance could think that, you know what, we're the strongest alliance in this battleground. We could betray everyone and collect all the rewards. so it's to our own benefits. This could happen. I mean, it's a game. Some allies are greedy. If it does, it does. You may have to prepare for this. If some allies decide to switch side to rebalance the teams, that's one thing. But an alliance that betray other one to for their own benefit, then that's another story. Just be aware this could happen. All right. One more trick I want to share with you. So let's say that, all right, I'm traveling right there. Okay. Boom. And I'm not careful. I pack my base. I forget to deploy my fighter. I travel a long distance, and I have to cross, let's say, that claim land that belongs to server one. I'm stuck there. I don't have any more airlift. I do now, but let's say I don't have any more. So what do I do to exit this map and save my troops? It's simple. You click on this and you click on leave. That will cost you one not one teleport. It will cost you one entry permit. I have 86 of them, so I can afford one, and it will cost me one entry. To enter Moscow, it doesn't cost you anything. So by doing so, you will save yourself a teleport, you will save your troops, and when you come back in Moscow, you will most likely land inside your safe zone if you have claim land there. All right, so this is a little trick to save yourself a teleport, or let's say that you are at the front line and you're going back to sleep. Instead of wasting some real estate for an active player, you just leave this way and you save yourself a teleport. Now, more tricks for you. Okay. Let's say that this CC is in progress, it's building, so there's many bases there, and you decide to farm in this land. So you send your trucks, you send 5 trucks into 5 mines inside the zone. So 5 mines equals 5 possible spots for your teammates to set up base. This is a no-no. Don't do it. Why would you mine inside a building site? Okay? Mine in enemy claim land. Therefore, you will prevent them from building bases. This is smart. Don't be a selfish dummy and mine in your own land. Secondly, base correctly. Okay? Too many people, too many commanders, they take 2 spots for no reason. The more base you can fit into a build zone, the faster you can achieve the construction. Okay? Same thing, like I said, you are at the front line defending your CC. The CC is completed. Then you have to leave the game. Just go elsewhere. Leave this spot for somebody active so he can defend your land effectively. All right, so this is useful trick. This is the basic stuff, but sometime in the middle of the action, you forget about that. So that's it for the tricks. I just want to end with a few things Moscow related. So let's have a look real quick. So in Moscow, you have, like I said, the goal in Moscow is to reach the middle of the map, right there, okay? If you reach the middle of the map and you capture the Kremlin, it doesn't make you the champ, okay? What makes you the winning alliance is by claiming the first rank, finish in first place in reputation point, okay? So right now, the alliance FWZ, they are leading with more than 8 million points. How do you get those points? It's by farming, guys. Okay, there's no secret there. So when you capture a settlement, you earn a reputation point. When you keep a settlement, you earn X amount of reputation points per minute. So the more point of interest you capture and keep, the more point income you earn. On top of this, every time you defeat Raven troops or destroy Raven bunkers and collect the plunder, you will receive reputation points. each time you complete a mine, you earn reputation points. So if you are unlucky and you don't owe any point of interest, your reputation performance will rely on the amount of bunkers you do. And when I say bunkers, not only destroying the bunkers, but collecting the plunder. That will earn you reputation points, all right? Now, if this doesn't interest you, or you just want to do the minimum because you're a fighter, you may look into the fighting machine ranking. This is where all the strongest fighter will shine. If you think that you can destroy many troops, go ahead and knock yourself out in the fighting machine. The rank, the rewards for top rank is quite nice. Okay? Now we talk about the conquest ranking. Let's do about the mission. So if it's your first conquest, you have your commander missions. Now those missions, it goes from killing Raven troops without collecting the plunder, and also destroying Raven bunkers, killing enemy reserves, collecting resources, and earning alliance repute by collecting the plunders when you defeat the Raven. Okay, so depending of what tier you are into, the mission may vary. And the only mission that I need to complete is the final 40,000 reputation point. I will earn one additional Air Force component, few statues, mission cash, and so on. Now the Alliance reputation, they are more interesting. So they're quite okay in the total reputation point you earn, but when you capture key point of interest like the Kremlin, and when you control towns, armed factories, settlement, and control the Kremlins, the rewards are quite interesting. Okay? The Conquest battle plan, it's the same thing as the level 1, 2, and 3 battle plan. Like I said, there's some easier missions, there's some more difficult missions. Okay, just be aware of that. There are your conquest event. This is quite new. So we have two tabs. The conqueror thing, where you have side missions. Right now we are in steady development, and not enough people pay attention to those missions. But I think they're very interesting. So this mission, it lasts for 3 or 4 days. You have Raven eradication and resource collection. In the Raven eradication, I complete everything. Same thing for resource. And when you complete certain amount of mission, you earn points and you earn refined component materials. If you do more than the minimum requirement, you may end up in the top 3 position, where you can claim some interesting rewards as well. All right. And finally, we have the prepare for battle. That is the buff you earn by spending real cash for buffs, bonuses. No, each time you spend real money, you earn some bonuses: troop damage bonus and troop and base damage resist bonus. Right now we are at 26. Some large alliance that spend a lot can have double the amount of combat readiness buff that we have. I mean, this will be adjusted in a few updates, because right now it's kind of unfair, but this is just my opinion. So that's it, guys. That's a complete guide for Moscow. If it's your first time, I wish you good luck. Moscow is fun. My best map so far. You may be winning or you may be losing, either one. So I hope that you will have a good time. Until then, friends, I wish you a good weekend. Take care. Once again, good luck in Moscow and have a nice day.